Welcome to Journalist Debrief with Premium Times, where we speak to journalists about their experiences on the field. Today, we will speak to Qosim Suleiman on his experiences in Plateau State concerning the illegal tin mining going on there. Qosim, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, the mining on the plateau in Nigeria dates back to colonial times, with the country's tin reserves estimated at 31,000 tons or 52,000 tons according to ITRI. What drives the Nigeria's illegal tin mining?
I think there are a couple of factors, but the major one I would say is economic factors. People need to make ends meet, and they have these abundant mineral resources in their communities, and these abundant mineral resources is also in high demand in the global, picture. So it's easy for them to, extract these things and sell them because it becomes like a lucrative business. So the fact that it is lucrative and there is a very loose regulatory framework around it makes it very lucrative and just keeps driving it.
Okay, so how does this illegal tin mining affect Nigeria's economy?
Well, I think I would say it affects it in two ways. I would like to look at it from the Plateau State's angle now, talking about the people there. It has, in a way, creates some form of, economic activity for the people. A lot of people are now employed doing that illegal mining. We can say, okay, it has helped some people. But at the same time, when we look at it, the way and manner which it is being done is leading to huge loss for the Nigerian government. That's when we look at it at the larger picture. Because most of these materials that are being mined, they do not pay royalty to the government. And in fact, the data on how much tin we are producing or exporting is shaky. When you look at the data from the NEITI, that's the Nigerian Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, the data they got from the Ministry of Mines and the data they got from the customs who were at the border are different, which, in itself shows us that there is a problem somewhere. Mm-hmm. So it is tricky, but on the whole, the Nigerian economy is losing hugely because even the communities that we think are benefiting in a way, they're only benefiting a trickle, just a fraction of the entire fund for that materials they mine.
So do these illegal mining affect the indigenous communities?
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, not a lot of people see it that way. I mean, the people who are mining it, they are only looking at the immediate term, but the long-term effects of the mining activities in those communities has to do with the environment and even the health of the people. And when you look at Plateau State is situated in like the middle belt of Nigeria, a region where a vast majority of the people are farmers. In most of the communities where this tin mining has been done, they cannot farm on those lands, and you realize that those lands are not they have been degraded basically. Also, the way and manner in which tin is mined is they dig is like a pit, like a well, and most of the time, in fact always, they do not do what is called land reclamation, which is to fill those pits. They don't do that, which is also dangerous, risky for maybe children who perhaps may be playing around there, or even animals. Yes.
So there you have it. Illegal tin miners, you're causing more harm to these communities than good. Let's try our best to do the right thing as it should be. So we are going on a break now, and when we return, we'll speak more about his experiences on the field. Welcome back to Journalist Debrief with Premium Times. Earlier, we spoke about how this illegal mining tin mining is affecting Nigeria's economy and how it's also affecting our communities and the environment. Now we are speaking to Qosim about his experiences on the field. So Qosim, tell us more about your personal experience on the field while carrying out the investigation.
I would say the experience is both interesting and revealing. It's because I navigated both the mining sites where the miners are extracting these materials, and I also visited tin sheds, which are like mineral buying centers. Normally the tin sheds are where they have machines where they separate these mineral resources from maybe sand or other waste material that may be in part of the materials they brought there. So what I realized going to those places is that you realize that I kind of followed the value chain, the distribution chain, from where it is being mined to where it is being sold, and interacted with the people who are selling it. Yes, so I think it's quite revealing, because it shows me how from where they extract this material, how they sell it, and the process with which they sell it. For instance, I spoke to a lot of people at the tin shed, or at different tin sheds. In my story, I mentioned that I counted more than 20 tin sheds myself. And people living in Jos and Plateau who are involved in this business told me there are over 100 tin sheds, but I counted 20. And I interviewed close to 10 of them. Some of them, I told them I'm a researcher, and some I approached them as a journalist. I only quoted those I approached as a journalist anyway, but I approached those as a researcher just to get a little bit more information. And what I realized is that the tin sheds who are now serving as mineral buying centers are violating the Nigerian Minerals Act, the NMMA. They are violating it in the sense that that act actually stipulates that mineral buying centers must have records of the mining site from which they bought any mineral, which is not what they do.
Yeah.
They just buy. Anyone from anywhere can actually walk to those to those tin sheds with any mineral resources, and they would buy from you, and they would also sell. So that has created a kind of value chain so anyone can mine illegally and sell to them. So,
okay, can you tell us about your personal safety and security while carrying out the investigation?
Yes, when while starting the investigation, I put in place some personal security mechanisms. But while at the end of it, I realized that it wasn't as dangerous as I thought it would be, because the people over there have normalized this. They have normalized it such that they do not see any wrong in everything they are doing. So they do not see the need to hide anything. You go to mining site, it's open. You can go there, you just talk to people, it's open. Anyone can come and mine. And when you get into tin shed, anyone can come bring materials to come and sell. So it's kind of an open business that almost anyone, in fact, you could be walking on the street and you would see people spreading some material on the road, just waiting for it to dry before they take it to the tin shed. So that's how, rampant it has become, and brazen, in fact.
So based on what you've said now, these people are not even aware that what they are doing is illegal.
Well, I do not think they are not aware. I don't know if they are aware or not, but obviously they do not see it as something they need to, hide.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us about your experience with the locals, the women and children while carrying out the investigation?
Well, I realized at the mining site, you realize that it's free for all. You find anyone. You find, I can't say for children like that, but I mean, you find teenagers at these mining sites who are also trying to make ends meet, because for them it's a big business. So you find women, in fact, I interviewed some women, you find men, you find teenagers. So it's like a free for all. You realize that everyone is in this.
Okay.
Yes.
So can you tell us about your encounter with Emma Cargo? He told you that anyone can do this business. What you need to do is just to buy land. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, my encounter with Emma Cargo is actually an interesting one, because I got to meet him by someone linking me with someone through another person, because I approached them like, oh, I'm trying to invest in this business. I want to start this business too. So when I met Imakago, he wasn't suspicious of anything, because it's like a rampant activity. A lot of people are doing it over there. And he just thought, oh, I'm coming and I don't know how it's done. And he explained a lot of things to me. How I'm going to get that land. He took me to even his own mining site, which he got less than 2 months before I met him. So he showed me how these things are done, told me I could get it for about 300,000 naira, and that he told me the expenses I would need. He told me I would have to, employ some laborers who would dig it, those who would wash it, and then I can go sell it myself. He even tried to tell me how to deal with these laborers, because some of them can be mischievous, who would try to steal or fetch some part of the mineral. He gave me all sorts, because it appears to be a business he has been for a really long time.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's it.
Okay, so what was the most exciting aspect of this whole journey for you?
Wow. The entire thing about this story is exciting. I mean, initially I had tried to do this story before now, and what I got stuck after I just interviewed people who are at the mining site and just compare it with the data we have. What I did at the time was just looking at people who are mining illegally. And one of my editors told me at the time that why not look at the value chain of this? So it was quite exciting while working on this, and I started following the value chain from the mining site to the tin sheds where these laborers or these tin miners are selling it, and looking at how they have created an entire value chain or distribution chain for it. So it's quite exciting. Unfortunately, I tried to do something which I could not for this story. I tried to follow one of the tin shed owners. I tried to follow him to the to those he supplies to. I tried to follow his truck, but since they only supply like when they gather the entire thing for like once in a week. I waited and tried to follow him, but at some point I noticed he started maybe like getting cold feet, and he was not very responsive, because he told me that the people he supplies are actually foreigners, Chinese specifically, according to him. But I could not verify that, because I wanted to follow him there to see those people, perhaps take a picture and get the location, but I could not do that. So yeah, that's one limitation that I wish I was able to cross with that story.
Okay, so during his investigation and his reporting journey, it was an exciting experience for him, though he couldn't go to the last part of the investigation because the person that was supposed to take him there was having cold feet. When we return, we'll speak more about what the Nigerian government is doing to stop illegal mining in Plateau State. Thank you. Welcome back to Journalism Brief with Premium Times. Previously, we spoke about how anyone and everyone, women, children, men, teenagers, are also mining these tin minerals in Plateau State. We also spoke about how Qosim was excited while carrying out the investigation, his limitation, his security, and so on. Now we're speaking about what the Nigerian government what the Nigerian government have to do to stop this illegal tin mining in Plateau State. So, Qosim, what can the Nigerian government do to solve this illegal tin mining in Plateau State?
Well, while working on this story, I spoke to some experts, and some of the things we realize is that the government is trying to do some things. For instance, earlier this year, the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, he set up what he called mining marshals, in different states who are supposed to serve like just like who should be policing mining sites, right? But during my investigation in Plateau State, none of the people I interacted with have met any of these mining marshals. In fact, Imakago, whom we were talking about, told me that no one ever, disturbed them. No any security official disturbed. In fact, the security officials almost always go for maybe bigger companies or Chinese who are trying to mine there. And he told me that himself, as a local, whenever they see or notice that a foreigner is trying to mine in some of those places, they alert the authorities. So it's
a funny one.
Yes, it's quite an irony. So I think the major thing is the regulatory framework. The regulation is there, the law is there, but enforcing that law, I think, is the major issue. Because the tin sheds, for instance, who are serving as mineral buying centers, they are violating certain laws, but no one is holding them responsible or accountable for violating those laws. Because if these tin sheds do not buy illegally mined material, then there will be no market for it. And then when there is no market for any material, it means that it will discourage some people. So I think those are, some of the things I noticed there.
The entire solid mineral sector, that's including other minerals like gold, lithium, contributed only 0.17% to Nigeria's GDP between 2018 and 2022, according to National Bureau of Statistics. Could this be the reason it appears the government is paying less attention to curbing the menace of illegal mining in Nigeria?
I think it is even a reason why they should focus on it. And I think the government is actually trying to, it may not be enough, but it appears because the government is trying to make a lot of money from the solid mineral sector. In 2016, the Nigerian government created what they call the solid minerals roadmap, if I get it right. And the plan was to actually increase the contribution of the solid minerals to, I think, 5% in a couple of years. But so far, it's been that target has not been met. And according to a situation report done by PwC last year, PwC found that the government did not designate some minerals as important, or did not identify them as important. And that is why maybe they've not been able to harness them. And one of those minerals is actually tin. And in the recommendation of that PwC report is that the government should look at that list again and then designate some other minerals like tin as strategic minerals that they will try to harness. So yes.
Okay. So from your experience as a reporter, what do you think the Nigerian government should do to stop illegal mining in Nigeria?
I think, again, the regulations are there, the laws are there. We just need to do more on enforcement. When the mining marshals, for instance, if they can enforce all of the mining laws, raid mining sites and ensure that no illegal mining is taking place, make sure that at the tin sheds or mineral buying centers, make sure no one is buying illegally mined material. Those are some of the ways that I think they'll be able to curb illegal mining. Yes.
That's all on illegal mining. Thank you, Qosim, for that interesting conversation. The conversation continues on illegal mining in Nigeria. Federal government should step up their games and implement some of these rules and laws that they have in place. I am your host, Esther Adaji.